Go.
Hi, my name is Kimberlyn Peat, and my study will be about low-income African Americans with attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or ADHD, or other behavioral disorders that are not adequately prepared by the school system to transition and assimilate into the American society. The research proposal is geared toward addressing how a county in the United States help helps low-income African American children who were diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactive disorder or any other behavioral disorders. The county is very affluent and it has 13% African American, so it's a little bit alarming to know that so many children are being labeled within the county as special ed, or they're not adequately prepared for the real world. The research paper will explore the resources that are currently available in the county to help low-income African American children who were diagnosed with ADHD or other behavioral disorders, and how it helps them assimilate into society. The research will cover children from the 7 high schools in the grades 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. It will be about 200 children. It will also assess how other resources that the county uses to help these children, like some are allowed to go to the magnet high school or the technical high school to learn skills, and what percentage of African American are participating into these activities. We'll also look into asking about 504 plans. How are the children adjusting? Are they able to transition if they go on to college? What resources does the county have to help them with these 504 plans? Or do they have to come out of pocket to ensure that they receive the correct resources whilst they transition from high school to college or to the real world? The literature review did not specifically deal with the county, but there are a lot of literature review that addresses African American with ADHD. There literature that define what ADHD is. In the journal article written by Amar et al., the article is why the diagnosis of ADHD and hypertension, why the diagnosis of ADHD mattered. They talk about that it's a commonplace and how prevalent it is in the American society, and that it's undertreated in the Black and Hispanic communities. Other researchers talk about Myers et al. Study how African American parents were coping with a child who was diagnosed with ADHD, and Tucker and Dixon talk about how African American males from low-income communities are most likely to be recommended for mental health services, and yet they are the least likely to receive the necessary mental health services. In the journal article linking ADHD adolescents and early adult outcomes among African Americans, we noticed that they were more likely to become involved in drugs, alcohol addiction, and could be argued that they're on a speedy track to incarceration. So the research itself, the hypothesis is that low-income African American students with ADHD or other behavioral disorders are not adequately prepared by the school system to transition and assimilate in the American society. The study aims to demonstrate that the lack of adequate resources which are needed to help low-income African American transition into the community contributes to the low achievement rate in African Americans from these communities. The dependable variable is the resources available to the students and the number of students that have access to these resources. The control variables are gender, race, and the age of the students. The data for the study will come from a survey that will be distributed March 2019 to approximately 200 kids, as I said, from the 7 high schools in this community. Students will be selected to participate if they were diagnosed with ADHD or any other behavioral disorders. The survey will be administered by the teachers, and the researcher will include detailed instruction on how to complete the survey. To identify the research participant, a sample frame will be taken prior to that. The researcher will use survey, interviews, and any other available data to complete the research. The data will be requested from the school district through the necessary process. The study will collect data on all low-income African American students who were diagnosed with ADHD or other behavioral disorders. The researcher will use the information to assess the number of students who were diagnosed with ADHD or other behavioral disorder. We will also see what percentage of the students encompasses the school population. Would like to know about the other assistance which the county provides for the children. First, the researcher will visit the police station, also in the courthouses, to see what public information is available in regards to these students. The survey of the social workers will and these are the social workers from the school who works directly with these children, will offer at some of the high schools. The interviews of the 7 social worker will provide information about the resources available to prepare low-income African American students in the real world. The researcher will interview the social worker after the consent is provided by the school district and the school principals to assess how children with ADHD and other behaviors are responding and how they're being required, and what requirements does the school have for these children to participate in these resources. For instance, will the student need a car to attend the vocational courses provided by the technical college, or does the school provide in-house transportation for these children? The school district procedure on conducting research will be followed, and all the necessary paperwork will be obtained. The consent will be filed in September 2018. The school district requires that the school request includes the reasons for the study, the date of the study, the school research is affiliated with, and the school the researcher is affiliated with, and how the study will benefit the school district. The form requests the parents' consent must be very specific and inform the parents of the intent of the study and the way that it will benefit the institutions. The form requesting parents' consent must also include two areas, one section where the parent can consent and one where they may decide that they don't want their children to participate. A sample of the school demographic will be collected. African American current, as I said, only make up 13%. So there are other articles that talk about where are the gifted. The children found no resources specifically allocated to assist. The researcher found no resources specifically designated to assist African American with ADHD or other behavioral disorder assimilating to society. However, the school offers college preparatory courses if the students are college bound. The problem that you have is many of these African American, low-income African American children are not college bound. So that resource is available, but it's not the best for them. The school also helps students to complete college applications and stuff like that. The research is significant because it helps parents, students, and the broader community be more aware of the resources that are available, and then they can help to make choices. It will also evaluate other resources that are currently used in other states to help low-income African American students with behavioral disorder assimilate into society, such as the Office of Rehabilitation that's in Rhode Island. The research is geared toward finding an answer that will help African American students to be more successful. Also, parents and students often do not know where to find, as I said, resources to to help children with behavioral disorders and how to assimilate. Above all, a direct correlation between the number of low-income students with ADHD and other behavioral disorders and the prison pipeline is evident, and we want to stem that pipeline. Many of these students have a criminal record at an early age, and they seem to be waiting in line to be incarcerated. The answer is multifaceted, and the education system and the parents must find answers. Thank you.